Good morning. So my daughter-in-law requested that I show her and my son how I make coffee because they love how I make coffee and they can't seem to duplicate it. So part of the reason is I use a French press, but it's not technically French press coffee. I have played with it until I got it a way that Jim likes because I don't drink coffee. So the first part and the most important part, I think, is the right coffee beans. So you get whole beans and then you make sure they have low acid and organic. Jim likes light roast, so that's what we're using. I've used Life Boost too. But the low acid helps us to not get the tummy aches. And when I say us, I mean Jim. So then I'm going to take this, and I don't do any exact science here. I just, pour it till it's up to about that silver rim there. And I should also say that in the meantime, I'm heating 20 ounces of water, and I'll show you that part because he likes it in a 20-ounce Yeti cup. So adjust accordingly. So I like to check the beans. So we're going to look at the beans now to see how ground up they are. And they look pretty good. I can probably grind them just a little bit more, but you don't want them too fine because of the mesh strainer that's in the French press. So I'm going to grind them a little more. And that looks good. I like them a little hearty. So now I'm going to take my French press here and I'm going to put all of that in the bottom. And then we're going to heat the water. And actually, I usually start the water first so it can be heating while I'm doing this part. But this is a cool little gadget that tells you the exact temperature because it's very easy to burn coffee. And 190 to 200 is ideal for French press. So if you don't want it at 200, because the point is to make sure it doesn't boil. So when you're heating the water, if it starts to boil, it'll get hot, but if it's boiling, it's gotten too hot. So you'd want to make sure it never boils. So if you want to avoid that, you can use a different setting, like oolong is 190, or you can watch it, but it's going to beep at me when it hits 200. But because it's starting to get to the boiling point, I'll probably take it off at about 195, just to be on the safe side. And then I measured 20 ounces already, and then I'm gonna pour it in here. And here's another important tip. You want to make sure that you use one wooden spoon dedicated to your coffee. Do not use any other kitchen spoon because oils from the foods you cook are gonna get into this. So this spoon is solely for the French press. And you stir it up and look at all that glorious beautifulness. It's dark in my corner, but that's okay. We're gonna put this on with the arrow away from that vent so that it keeps the heat in. And then we're gonna time the timer for 4 minutes. And it's gonna brew for 4 minutes. It's ready, it's time. And so now this is when we pour it. So you're going to take this arrow and you're going to turn it towards this part so the air can escape. And you don't want to put more than 15 pounds of pressure or it'll bloop up and burn you. And you want to go pretty slowly. This one moves the glass ones work so much better than stainless steel. I highly recommend the glass French presses. The stainless steel gets stuck and still burp out fluid everywhere. And then you've got your coffee. So Jim prefers to have cinnamon on top of his coffee. That's it. So I measured out 20 ounces and we came up a little short. Wah, wah. I don't usually measure, I usually overfill because if you do 20 ounces, a lot of that's going to be right down here in that part where all the coffee grounds are. So anyway, he's a little short today because usually I'm making myself a tea latte, but I'm going to sprinkle a little cinnamon on top. Ceylon cinnamon is the way to go because that's the stuff that's medicinal and good for you, and actual cinnamon. Anything that's not Ceylon is likely just from a random tree that is not a cinnamon tree, but it smells and tastes kind of like one. And it doesn't have any nutritional value. And for my daughter-in-law, she was disappointed I did not have a good creamer when she came last time. And that was because the creamer I liked, because I can't do dairy creamers, had so many gums added to it, it would make me so unbelievably ill in my digestion that I had to stop. But then they came out with this one, and this is not a paid sponsorship, this is my enthusiasm. This has no gums. Now they have different flavored ones that are, I think, an orange label. Those do have gums, but this one doesn't. They make a pistachio, a lavender, a vanilla, and a brown sugar, and all of those are gum-free. You can check the label here. But if you want to add a creamer, this is what I use, and you can just drop it in there to cool it off, or you can use one of these cool handy-dandy frothers, which I love. I've had this for 5 years since COVID, and it still works fantastic. I love it. So that is how we make our French press. I leave the lid off so Jim can let it cool before he drinks it. But that's it. Thanks for coming to my coffee talk.